Hey guys, what's up? Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's doing good. Give me a quick audio check, please. Somebody give me a. Yeah, hi Brenda, how you doing? Good morning back to you. Third in line, what's up? Hacksaw, George, what's up? Jim, Douglas, Della, hey, good to see you here. Christine, Susan, Connie. Yeah, guys, been without power for 36 hours. Wow, that's rough. Yeah. Yeah, anybody wants to know what'll happen when we get hit with a big CME, talk to third in line, because we ain't going to have no power. Oh, goodness. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and jump into this, guys. You guys take care of it here in the chat for me if you would. I'm going to try to get through this fairly quick so we can all go hang out over on Mark's channel for a little while. But, yeah. Had some pretty bad stuff happen today, guys. I'm sure you guys have probably heard about the earthquake and all that. That's always bad news, but it's stuff we have to talk about, you know. So that's what we'll do. We'll get to that first, or in a second here, but we'll get to the space weather stuff beforehand. Okay, so yeah, we got Schumann resonance stuff. This is the spike that happened a couple days ago. We've already talked about that. I haven't seen anything, really much of anything else, so we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. We had a couple little spikes there, nothing big. You know, a lot of times when we see like big earthquakes and things like that, we check all the tools at that time just to see if there's anything to point us to what possibly could have pushed it over the edge to go ahead and have one in that area, which I don't think anybody, and I hadn't heard of anybody pointing to that specific area, especially for one that big. Now, it's not uncommon to get earthquakes there, and we'll go into that here in a minute, but what I do want to show you here is there was no crazy signature here, okay, when the earthquake popped off. So there wasn't nothing going on there even after, okay. I haven't looked at the seismographs yet. I would imagine with a quake that big, it probably rung the whole planet. Typically, that's what happens. Sometimes you can see like a complete wave across the planet. Other times, like the other day, which was kind of an odd, very rare situation, it really like a low frequency went through the whole planet. Ricky was pointing that out to us, and was trying to help us understand what we were looking at. And let me tell you something, man. That was something to see. All the seismographs go pretty much completely black. That was I'm not, we're talking throughout the whole planet. We're not talking just one specific area. It rung our bell, man. So whatever that means. Okay. So, as you can see here, guys, the solar X-ray flux, right? Things look as though they're calming down, right? I wouldn't let our guard down yet, and I'll explain to you that here in just a second. The reason why these X-rays are starting to calm down and come to a lower level is because the two solar flares, or solar sunspots that were there, are now exiting off the limb of the sun. They're not completely out of sight, but as soon as they go off the other side, obviously they won't be able to shoot X-rays our direction. But we have two other sunspots or active regions. They're probably going to be named sunspots once they crest over. That will, push the X-rays straight back up, I would think. And we'll look at it here in a second. But again, solar proton flux, nothing much there. Geomagnetic activity. It's low. I would consider this low from like here to here. Now back here is kind of normal. But, really haven't had much of a worry for cosmic rays either, because we haven't been in the, really, really low, like zero level for any kind of extended period of time lately. So that's good for that too. This is what I say, it's good to have some solar weather, guys. It really is. It helps protect us. So, and oddly enough, it helps protect us against the sun. So, it's one of those things, man. Damned if you do, damned if you don't type of situations. This here was kind of an odd signature. I'm not quite sure what caused that to do that. When I first glanced at this, I thought, oh, it must be in another eclipse mode for the satellite, but no, that's not what we're looking at here. And the reason I say that is you got the whole circumference of the sun. the edges of it showing. Okay? So it wasn't an eclipse. If it was an eclipse, it would go from one side to the other, whatever direction it was moving. So I backed it up, and I was trying to see. So we go from that. See how it's starting to get dim? You see that? Then it goes completely black, and then the next capture is that. So I'm going to hit refresh on here and see if it'll give us another image. And again, yeah, see, it's well, I don't know if it's back yet or not. Probably, yeah, it's back. But it was probably pretty much just a glitch in the camera. I don't know what else could cause that. We go from that to that. Well, let me back it up. That's where we start, right? With a normal. Well, let's do it this way. That way we can see it better. So we start with like the normal brightness sun, right? And it kind of gets dim right there. And then it goes, completely black right away. Then it comes back slow like that. And that way right there was kind of strange to me, because see where my cursor is? Let's watch the timestamps here. Those are 4-minute increments, guys. Okay? So it took it from the time that it started to do that. Dim, black, kind of there, right? So we're looking at, at least a time of 15 minutes there. 16 to be more exact. I don't know what, like if maybe they had to power the light down or the camera itself down for a second and bring it back up for whatever reason. Maybe they did I don't know, maybe they did some sort of software upgrade to it, which they can do, by the way, even that far away. So, that's kind of what I'm thinking that is. I don't think it's anything nefarious there. I don't think it's anything crazy odd. I just, we don't typically catch it doing what it's doing there. So, and again, I have to say this. You're going to have somebody out there saying that the sun turned on and off. That is not what happened here, okay? Just so everybody knows. That ain't what happened there. Okay? I really think it's probably something, like a reset, maybe on the camera, or maybe there's because they do have, maybe they were exercising the eye itself, the lens, the shutter, I should say. They use baffles and stuff in there too to control the amount of light. So maybe one of those was malfunctioning. Maybe they needed to move a few of those to exercise them so they don't go bad. That kind of thing. That's more what it looks like here to me. It doesn't look like anything crazy. Now, again, if I'd have seen something go from the right to the left, that would have been a little bit more concerning to me than the whole thing going out and coming back on. Okay? So, the only reason why I even address that is because I want to, kind of get out of front of those that are going to come out here and say that was something ridiculously stupid. It's not. Okay? My opinion, well, you guys understand what I'm saying there? Yeah, a recalibrating glitch. It's kind of what I think. Again, it was only there for 15, 16 minutes, so, yeah. Heart manipulating the ionosphere. I don't know, Brenda. That's, are you talking about the sun pictures? That's not, I wouldn't think that HAARP would have anything at all to do with that. Because that satellite's way past our ionosphere. So I'm not sure how that could affect that satellite like that. So, and I don't know, maybe you have some research that you've done on that to kind of confirm that. I'd be interested to see it if you did. That would be something, something I'd like to see. Some sort of, if you shoot me some links to some of your videos or something, maybe I'll take a look at it. But with that satellite being way out past any kind of atmosphere, I'm not sure how it would ever affect the sun. But Yeah, we'll take a look at it for sure. Yeah, you're welcome, George. Thank Ricky for that. I mean, um, most certainly. She pointed everybody over to Ron, her and Isaiah's granny. Those are the two that were over there, and I stopped in there last night, guys, and that's one of the reasons I don't comment too much in other people's chats, especially if I know people that I know are going to be in there. I just wanted to say hi. I'd never talked to Ron before and give him props for what he's been doing, and as soon as I did, people started, talking to me, and it kind of distracted people from what Ron was trying to show, and I kind of felt bad about it. I really didn't want to distract from anything he was saying, and that's why I don't typically talk in other people's chats. So, hey Ricky, what's up, guys? What's up, Rip? Hey Scott, what's up, man? So yeah, this is going to be a quick one anyway, guys. So I'm not going to stay on here very long. So, but I did want to talk about, wanted to show you guys that, like I just showed you with the like I said, somebody's going out there is going to tell you this is something crazy, like the sun went off and turned back on. That is not what happened. Okay, it's again, the way I'm looking at it is, from my point of view here, it's a recalibration of the camera probably. Brenda was talking about some harp stuff that she's going to send me some links. I'll take a look at it and see what I think about that. It'd be interesting to see some different research on that to see what that actually, could kind of pop up for us and see if there's anything to add there. But yeah, again, that's just an observation I've seen, and I just want you guys to be aware of it. Yeah, because people will usually take something like that and just run with it. I mean, just take it to the end of the world like it is the end of the world. So that's what I would say to that. Okay, just be cautious. All right. Now, like Brenda's sending me some links here. This is what's cool about it, because I appreciate that. And the reason why I appreciate that is a lot of times when we'll make comments like that, and somebody will say, well, it's this, it's this, it's this. Well, if you're going to tell me it's this, then give me some research or some information, some links that I can go look at. Don't tell me it and then walk away. And that's not what Brenda did. Brenda immediately, hey, I've done some research on this. Take it, I'm going to send you some links. I asked her to send me some she's going to, so I'm going to take a look at them. I think that's the right thing to do. And it definitely will make me, look at her stuff a little bit more, because most people would just like, it's this, and then walk away. Oh, you're stupid. That kind of stuff. Yeah, that ain't help. That ain't. Oh man, that ain't happening. What would happen if the sun did flicker off and on like that? Rip, I don't know. I don't know that it could. That's just something that, if I was going to go make a stretch out there, if I was going to say, hey, the sun did that, it would be more, in my mind, it would be more of a simulation situation with maybe a lensing system that's kind of blocking a sun simulator or something like that. But I don't think that this, like I said, we have to keep in mind that this satellite is not on the Earth. Okay? It's out past all that. It's looking at the sun. So what I'm saying is that I'm not sure that they have a satellite that looks at a sun simulator. Okay? But that's just what I'm saying. They could, I guess. But for me, that's a bit of a stretch. That's all. Again, if somebody was to show me a satellite pointing at a sun simulator, then maybe I'll believe it. But for now, no, not for me. And you guys are welcome. Like I said, people believe what you want to believe, but that's my opinion on what's happening there. So, okay, now we got the ACE data. Okay, the density is going up right here, kind of staying steady here. Everything else is pretty normal, guys. Now the phi angle did its polarity flip. That's probably that little bump we've seen geomagnetically right here. Okay, because whenever that does do that, yeah, it matches right up with that time frame. Looks like close to it, I think. No, it's back here. So maybe it didn't affect it too much that time. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on what's going on. But sometimes when that phi angle will do its polarity flip, especially if it does it really quick, sometimes we'll get a pretty good jolt just for a second on our geomagnetic activity. This is where I want to talk about something here, because this model itself is continuously changing, and this time this model's having a hard time staying consistent right now, okay, because of what's coming our way. You see this little, I don't call it little, you see the increase here, right, in density. Now you're seeing an increase in the solar wind here too. Now we know that came from some sort of a CME that launched off the sun, because you can see it here. But what this thing is having problems with is the actual density, which has kind of got me puzzled a little bit, because typically this thing will, grab a hold of something, and yes, it might change it a little bit here and there, but the range that it's showing, that's what's changing. It ain't the time frame. Okay, I got on here right before I came on live. This was up to 30. Okay, and right before I clicked live, I took a look at it again, and it was down to 15. And it's been bumping back and forth between 15. I've seen it up as high as 45, I think, throughout the day. So I don't think this thing is very, confident on what it's trying to tell us on how high the density is going to be with this. And that's important, okay? Because obviously the higher the density, the harder of a hit we're going to take. Now all these models are saying that it's going to hit us. It's just they're not, coming together on how hard. So, we're going to have to pay attention, because we're about right here in time. So we're looking at, this over here is at the turn of the day, well, it's probably about 8 o'clock in the evening on the 2nd, Monday night. Okay? I think it's Monday. Is it second Monday? I can't remember. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That's the 5th. That's the 4th. That's the 3rd. Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's either Monday or Tuesday or something like that. But, anyway, it doesn't know. It's having problems, nailing it down. And it keeps changing. I'm talking like from hour to hour. So I don't know what kind of data it's receiving. If it's constantly getting upgrades, I don't know. But something else I noticed that we don't see too often. I've seen it before, but not real often. I'll take you guys in here and let you see it. You guys see those little hash mark looking things? And they're kind of going out in waves almost. So it's picking up some sort of the model's kind of showing some sort of a wave action going on. I've seen it on here before. And, I'm not going to say that it's something crazy, because I just don't know. But it is odd at the same time that this is happening. So whatever that's showing is what it's showing. But we also keep in mind, along with high dense particles, we're getting high solar wind too. So when this thing does hit, it's probably going to bump our geomagnetic activity up pretty good. I say we get into a G1 at least, in my opinion. We may be to a G2. I guess on the high end we could see a G3. Maybe. I doubt it. But it is very, very small. It's a small CME, guys. I'm not sure if it even is still... Did I get the tracker out at all? Yeah, I was having problems with my internet earlier too. I'm not sure if anybody else was. Let's go over here to the CME tracker real quick. Okay, see, that's the other one. All right, the one that was showing before it's going to be hitting us was really, really small. Okay, so here's that other one that fired off. It fired off on like the 28th, end of the day on the 28th, and it kind of just, you can see it spreading out. It looks like we might get clipped by the wake of it. It's not the CME itself, but it's like being in a boat. You get a wake, it goes out in front of it or behind you, that kind of thing. It spreads out, and as it goes out, obviously it's getting weaker the further it gets from center. but it's still clipping things magnetically. So, you know. All right. Let's go back to here. Aurora forecast. I do like the way they changed this. They changed this model a little bit. I like it a lot better. You can get a little bit more consistent on what we're seeing, how far down it goes. It looks like they've kind of also got it a little bit more precise. Because beforehand, you would see like green get way down in here, you know, like way low. And we know it's not going to get down there unless we get hit with like a huge X flare or something. But every once in a while, this model would show green down here in Mexico or something. And it's like, what? Whatever. We don't get those unless we get huge solar activity, just so you know. The Auroras are never going to get down that low unless that happens. This here, I'm going to start, like I said, guys, I'm going to start showing you guys this one too. This was really cool the other day when I was showing it to you guys because it's when the flares were hitting us. It shows it really cool because it'll show you exactly on the planet where it hit. Okay, I don't think it's going to show us anything here. It's not, because there were no flares. Okay, that's why. I don't need to go down there. Geoelectrically, not much going on. You're going to see a little bit of movement here, not a whole lot. That's about all you're going to see right there, guys. It's not much at all. Same with these. You're not going to see much here. I'm just going to grab this because just to burn through this because there's not much to see. Okay, this is all very, very normal stuff that we see every day. This isn't something that I would even, you know, waste a whole lot of time talking about because you guys can see how pretty normal that is. I did look at these a little bit more in depth than what I just showed you guys. I always do, just in case I think I might miss something. But I didn't see anything at all. I mean, you can see how consistent that stayed all the way through there. All that means is we're staying consistent in our our magnetosphere is staying pretty strong right there. So that we're not really getting hit with much. Now this way here, we'll take a look at this again. But what's odd is, guys, this model here is showing us getting hit. Around, let's see here, 2200. Okay, you see that ball right there? It bounces off in the back right there, magnetically. See that? That's what we see when we get hit in the front, okay? We get hit with solar wind, CME, anything like that. You know, increase and things like that. That's what we'll see. That would be a normal thing to see. See how it exits out the back? Okay, so you know whatever happened right then at 2200, it happened on all three of these models, and it's going to because it's the same. The models are getting the data from the same place, so that's what we would expect. If you go up here and again, guys, I'm not sure if we can trust the speed on this up here as much as I think that a lot of people do. You know, that says 1200. Keep in mind, 1200 is 3 million miles an hour. Okay? And no other model right now is showing it. Well, there's 14 right there. Look at that. That's even faster. So, you know, I'm not saying that we didn't get hit right there. I'm just saying that the top out speed that thing is showing us, I don't think it's accurate. None of the other models have ever shown something that high. You know, we've seen this thing get up like to 2,500, I think. I think at one time, we might have even seen it close to 3,000. And you know, I'm not so sure that if something was hitting us that fast, if it just wouldn't rip our atmosphere to shreds. I don't know. But it just seems kind of highly unlikely that that's an accurate number. That's what I'll say. Okay? So, yeah. So, and this is the model right around our planet at the same time. And yes, we got hit with something there is what it's showing. But again, this is, I didn't see it on any of the other models. It's kind of strange. So, of course, the other models don't really go back this far because we can't get archive data. So we probably did take a hit from something right there, but I don't think it was that strong. It could have been, I guess. I don't know. It's just, to me, that number there is just so highly unlikely to happen as often as this thing shows it. Because I used to like hang my hat on that number. You can go back and watch a few of my videos in the past. I really did. And then as I started watching it and, talking to a lot of other people, Scott included, like, hey, is that really that accurate? I don't know. Anybody got any opinions on that? Just curious. Yeah, it's insane speed, isn't it, Paul? I mean, to me, it just seems like it's, I don't know. I don't know if I can just say that's a completely accurate number. Because number one, it only hangs around, just for a second. So, that is what it is. Hey, birthday, what's up? Isaiah, IG, what's up? So, yeah. Hey guys, Brian Jacobs says it's CERN. I want to make a comment on that a little bit because I think that, I've been trying to kind of put this out there in a soft way, but we can't hang our hat on that all the way. We just can't. For a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons is because there's so many more particle colliders on this planet. And some of them are really, really close to the same amount of power as CERN. So, that's just my opinion. You guys can think about whatever it is or whatever it could be doing or any of that. But yeah. Well, that's okay, Marie. Hey, you're diving in with all of us. Hey, we're not going to get mad at each other. We might not always agree. We're not really all agreeing right now on this. But we're not going to get mad at each other. So, yeah. So, I don't know. Man. So, yeah. Yeah, possibly, George. Yeah. That's, that's something that we thought, like I said, guys, even, yeah, you're welcome, Brian. No, and that's what I'm saying, guys. That's, sometimes, if somebody says something like that, like I might not think it's that, but after we have a discussion, my mind will change. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's kind of like that. So we can, like I said, we can all agree to disagree, or we can all agree to agree, or we can all just, say what we think. So yeah, that is just what it was, But yeah. Okay, so we will move on. This, like I said, guys, not this right here. You guys see these up here? These two sunspots are rotating off. Okay, these other ones are rotating in. It's kind of funny they're in the same spots. I thought it was kind of funny anyway. And so yeah, it's so as these two are going to exit, these two are going to come onto the face. So I think our X-rays are going to stay just about where they're at, if not even peak a little higher. Oh, do you, Paul? Yeah, that'd be interesting. Really would. He lives next to a mini hadron collider. I mean, that would be pretty cool, I think. Could be, I guess, cool and dangerous at the same time, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, guys, I mean, that's a lot of the reasons why, you don't hear me talk a lot of definitive language, because I can be wrong. as soon as I want to say I'm 100% on something, a lot of times I get, somebody will say something that'll make me rethink that, or even just prove what I said completely wrong. There's always new research to look at. There's always new ideas to take a look at. We can show observations, which is what we do here, and people can go down the road how they think they need to go down it, and I'll give my opinion. But I won't, I'm not going to come out here and say, beat somebody over the head by saying it's 100% this way or whatever else, because I've done that before and just, been proven wrong. So I just won't do that. But, that's just how I am. You guys know that. Here's the magnetopause models here. We will take a look at it real quick. This is the Australian model. Again, I like this one a lot better. A lot better than the ones that we typically get to see, because this is simple. This is a simple model, and I love it. The simplicity of it is just so much better. I mean, you could show this probably to an elementary kid, and they can understand it. You show that other stuff I just showed you guys, it'll draw your mind away just because the visual is so much more in your face. Now we can probably get a whole lot of detail out of the other ones, but this here will give us a really good basic understanding of what's going on. Again, in my opinion. So, yeah. What's up, Rick A? Ain't seen you in a minute. Missy, what's up? Joanne, hey, you're in here. Birthday's in here. Daniel, what's up? Sparky, that's right. I'm going to try to get through this, guys. That way we'll, go over to Mark's channel here in a minute. But check this out, guys. I mean, it looks as though these sunspots on both sides, look where the action is. Okay? All the action on the sun right now is coming from those sunspots. You could clearly see that. This one here, I don't think any of this stuff is coming at us. Okay? Or even over here. Now, as they come rotate in front of us, could that stuff get us? Most certainly. Okay? Most certainly. So, you know what? Maybe I'll just, pull that over here. Stereo A, guys, doesn't look any different than this, so I'm not even going to waste my time showing it to you guys. So, yeah. Let's just, go over here, space weather. What they're showing here, guys, they've taken the sun and flipped it on its side. Alright, they're just trying to see, show that, so show those two sunspots cresting over. But yeah, so those are the two new ones. They would be over here, okay, and they call that the eastern limb. The western limb is actually over here. It's opposite of what you think it would be, like if you were looking at a map. Yeah, they're flipping. yeah, for sure. I mean, they flipped it over like that, man. It's just kind of crazy. Hopefully I don't confuse some people that don't know what they're looking at, because, yeah. Oh, that'd be pretty cool if they put this in motion, because it'd be rotating down. Kind of cool. All right, now we're gonna take a look at this, because I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on this either. Okay, because there's really not a whole lot for me to add to the story here. Okay. Ricky and everybody else knows, and Isaiah's granny, Ron was on talking about this, Dutch. I mean, everybody's talking about this, okay? As well they should. This is big news, okay? This was a bad one, guys. As you know, like when we click on this in Greece here, it's telling us how big it was. Now, it was probably bigger than that. They've downgraded it. They always do. So that is what it is, right? So as we're going through here, for me, the most important box is the one here that says pager. All right, it's orange right now. I don't like that. And why I don't like it is because it means people have died. It really sucks. I hate reporting on stuff like this, but I have to, because people need to know, you know what I mean? And I know that they could get it from somewhere else, but, whatever, So what we're looking at here, guys, if you click on those, just so you know, if you go over here to USGS, it will give you this information. Okay? So it's giving you percentages of the chances of these things happening at the bottom. On the left, you're looking at fatalities. So there's a 47% chance that 10 to 100 people are going to die. And we know that I think the last number I seen was like 26 or 27.5. That's confirmation. That's not something that's a wonder. Is it really going to get that high or any of that? Hey, evening surplus. Anytime we see these kinds of things, it sucks. And then you go over here to the estimated economic loss. Look at this. There's a 35% chance of that amount of U.S. dollars in millions of that happening. It's horrible. Really is. I hate this kind of crap. Hate it so bad. I really do. It just makes me sick. So, let me show you this, and then I'll show you a couple other things. I'm going to show you a couple pictures of what happened here. And these are just a couple of, you guys, some of you guys probably already seen a lot of these, okay? But I'm just going to show you two of them, because I'm not going to go too much into this destruction stuff. I hate this crap. So, anyway, obviously you can see how that building just pretty much, and I would assume that their building codes are nowhere near what they are over here. Hey, Joanne, thank you. Let's see here. And then this one. I mean, you could clearly see. I mean, that's just total destruction of that building. Look at that thing. This is crazy. I put tsunami in the description because there was a small one, from what I understand. I'm not sure how bad it got on that end of it, but I don't think it was like some big 15-foot one or nothing like that. But it was bad, And I don't cover this a whole lot, and the reason I don't is because is the fact that everybody else already is, okay? And I'm telling you, they do. I don't care for a channel that talks about what we talk about here. Earthquakes is part of the conversation here, because space weather affects it. So that's why I talk about it. Most of the time, I'm not going to step out here and talk about a religious subject. You don't see me on here doing that a whole lot, do you? There's a reason. Because that's not what the channel's for. Now, I'll talk about it every once in a while, and I'll give my opinion and my views on what I believe. But as far as actually making a show around that kind of a thing, I'm not going to do it. And the reason why is because of that, what I just said. That's not what the channel is about. Every once in a while, I'll step out of that. But not most of the time I don't. And the other thing with the earthquake situation, you can go anywhere and find it. Okay? Anywhere. So that's what I'm trying to say. You guys have seen all this gloom and doom already before I showed it to you. I guarantee you did. And that's kind of why I don't go down that road. And if I think that it's something that might not get talked about, I'll mention it. But I also, the reason why I don't feel too bad about showing this stuff here is because we do talk about earthquakes. Space weather does affect it. And so when stuff like these events happen, I will show it. I'm not going to dwell on this part of it, but I will show it. But, like I said, you guys can get that at any other channel, I promise. Because that's what people are going to show you. They're going to show you all this nasty, destructive stuff because, guys, I'm telling you, and I hate to say it like this, but most of us, all of us almost, at some level, it's like watching a train wreck, We almost can't turn away from it. And some people will grab that and use it to their advantage on purpose because they know. They know that nobody's going to, if they see something like that going across their YouTube feed or wherever they're seeing it at, a lot of times they'll click on it. And what they're showing you wouldn't be incorrect, but they're actually playing it up. Not really playing it up, but they're putting so much there. They're putting it there for the reason so they want you to click on their video, or that's just what their channel is or whatever. I mean, they can report on the news. It's just I don't want to keep showing this kind of stuff, It's just, because they know we can't take our head away from it. They know that. And it's always going to be that way. It's why I don't complain about it too much. What you got there, Scott? Put this up. What is it? I ain't gonna spend. I'm getting ready to get off here. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time. Yeah, that's the one from the other day. Yep. There you go. There it is, guys. Another observation. Just like almost every one. It's kind of crazy. Kind of nuts. Nutty, man. I mean, again, that one was back on the 28th. That was on the other side. And then there was one over here. Actually, I think this one, the CME tracker, grabbed it. And this one actually isn't firing right off to the left. It's actually firing towards the backside. So, yeah. Yeah, it's a good question, Justin. What is that? So, yeah. Again, the observation speaks for itself, guys. It's just what it does. Scott doesn't have to say nothing. I don't have to say nothing. It's there. You know? I think Scott's kind of getting to the place where I'm at. I'm tired of arguing with people over what this actually is. You know? And that's the thing. I don't have to say nothing. I really don't. At all. It's there, you know? Yeah, exactly, Scott. That's what I'm trying to say. So, at this point, as many as Scott's shown you, as many as I've shown you, there's nothing more we can really say. Yeah. The big quake came shortly thereafter. This one? What big quake you talking about, man? That's on the 28th. Just curious. I mean, did I miss a quake somewhere on the 28th? Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Oh, cool, Justin. Cool. Yeah, there. 2 days later, yeah. For sure. For sure. Most certainly could be yanking on magnetics 100%. And that's kind of what we're talking about, you know. Yeah, exactly, Verte. I mean, and that's what Scott's saying. That's what I'm saying. It's gotten to the point now, guys, where it's almost like, you know, either you're going to believe it or you're not. And that's where it's at. It's, you know, I know Scott's had the stress. I've had the stress of trying to do our best to convince people that, you know, maybe what's out there isn't what we thought it was. And, you know, there's so much pushback on all ends of it. We're not going to stop showing it. But at this point, you show it, and they're going to, you know, people are going to believe it or not. Now, when they ask questions, we're going to answer. But at the same time, we don't have to, you know, I don't think Scott wants to slam you with this. I'm not going to slam you with this because it's not going to do any good. We can show you this. That's the best that we can do. And, you know, Scott's been doing it for 20 years, you know. He's got to be getting, like, frustrated, you know, just because some people just want to be so, you know, really, really bad with it, you know, just so, you know, if you don't agree with what we're showing, okay. I mean, that's up to you. You know, I go to a lot of channels I don't agree with everything that they're showing. But I still go there, and I don't go get in their chat and just start, you know, smacking people across the face, because I don't see any need to do that. It ain't gonna do me any good to do that. It ain't gonna help anybody. It just won't. Exactly. You know, Scott just said it. He'll show you the evidence. What you do with it is what you do with it. You know? But it's one of those things that, man, I just don't know what to say about it anymore. I said everything I needed to say about this. Scott has too, and it is. And that doesn't mean we're not going to stop looking for it, because we will. Every time. Every time. Okay? So just know that. This is something that we will keep showing you. But I'm not going to beat you on the head with it. Not with the, I'll show it to you every time. Because it needs to be shown. But there's so much of this now that we can just start picking it and just throwing it out there for you guys whenever you want to see it, because it's there. It is there in our opinion. You know, and then we got observations right here to show you. We're not just saying it and then just like walking away. That ain't what happens. So it is what it is, you know. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I think people like it was a really good example earlier, and I thank Brenda for saying what she thought. Okay, if you guys don't, Brenda, she's one of the newer mods here. You know, she was saying it was hard about that. You know, the sun kind of going dark and everything. We didn't jump all over that. We didn't jump all over her for having a different opinion. She gave us links and stuff to go look at. And there it is. That's what we do. Okay? We would be fools to think that we're going to agree with each other 100% of the time. It's not going to happen. That doesn't mean that we need to cancel each other out. And that's exactly what the big ones want us to do. They want us to cancel each other out. And it's not going to happen here, I promise you. That will not happen. Because as soon as that starts happening, it's already happening, you know, enough. Especially in this genre and a lot of other genres that are similar to this. You know, look what happened to the whole... You guys know what the 17th letter of the alphabet is? I'm not going to say it because this video will get completely just bombarded. That whole community, whether you believed in what they were showing or not, YouTube went through and deleted all their channels. We're talking channels that had 700,000 subs. Okay? That happened just last week. That's cancel culture, in my opinion. So, that is what it is, you know. Yeah, Brenda just put it in there. So, you know, whether you believe what was being said on those channels or whatever, it's still your choice to click on that video. If you don't like what they're saying, you don't have to click on their video. That is a choice. You know, and that's something we fight as channel creators because, you know, we try to, at least for me, I try to keep it as open as I can in the chat. You guys know that. But at the end of the day, this is still my channel, you know, and I don't have to allow that, but I do. Other channels don't, and I respect that. Okay, I do. I respect their rules. And, you know, you can go to other channels and you'll say just one thing sideways, man, that might not completely agree with their line of thinking. And, I mean, there is no, hey, man, please don't say that again. Or, hey, man, you're in timeout. It's an immediate block ban and you're an idiot. You know what I mean? You're not. Nobody's going to get that here. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. So, it's what it is. You know, I just don't. You know, and that's the whole thing, guys. I won't go against people like that because, you know, I know what it feels like to show somebody observations like this. And for just to get smacked around. You know, because there is no, like, well, maybe. I mean, you're on one side or you're on the other of this. That's just what it is. Either you think it's there or you don't. And that's what it is. And I think that, you know, through the years, especially, you know, Scott's shown so many captures. I've shown a lot now, too. there's not much more we can do than just show the observations. I really honestly don't know what else to do. Again, I'm not going to force feed people. That ain't going to happen. I don't think we could ever reach anybody or get them to even halfway think about what, excuse me. Yeah, that's right. I mean, Scott said it. It doesn't even bother him anymore. Right. Me either. That's what I'm saying. We know, like when I put this up just a minute ago when he sent it to me, I knew as soon as I stuck this out here that somebody was going to do something. If you go back and look at my chat, I bet somebody did. I haven't looked yet, but I bet you could go back there and find it somewhere. And you don't have to agree. That's okay. You don't. You can not think it's there. That's fine. Whatever. I do. I think it's there. I think a lot of the observations we've shown you are 100% there. But I'm not going to spend all my time trying to convince you of such. That's just not going to happen here, And I'm not going to think if you don't believe it's there or whatever, I'm not going to think you're a bad person. As long as you don't come at me with a bunch of vulgarity and stuff. Yeah. Call it a space bubble. Call it what you want. Facts are the facts, and it's there. Here to stay. Exactly. That's just what it is. And that's just kind of where we're at with it. And so, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Oh. Man. So, yeah. And that's what I'm saying, guys. There are so many different genres we can go to nowadays. Okay? We can go look at whatever information we want to look at on this subject that I show you guys. There are probably 50 channels at least. Call it a dingleberry. Good one, man. There's probably 50 channels at least that talk about this. At the very least, probably hundreds. So you don't have to listen to me if you don't want. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say, guys. But and then on the other hand, I do want you here. And for the most part, guys, I'm respectful, and I usually get that respect handed back to me. Usually. Now, sometimes, obviously, we know it's not going to happen that way. And we handle that when we need to. But at the same time, I want people to be able to have different opinions and allow me to have a different opinion than you. And if we can do that, then, we can at least be in the same room together. And maybe, just maybe, we might agree on something down the road. And if you get two people that are passionate about what they're saying, if they agree with each other, that's the best combination you can have. Because you'll be amazed at what you find when you get two people that actually have a very good passion about stuff like this, what we can go get. And, I think that me and Scott both have showed you guys that. And that's just what happens. It's that simple. We've shown you, a bunch of different stuff. Me and him don't have the same personality, and that's why we work good together. That's a fact. I mean, it's just what it is. And I think when it comes to this one subject here, both of us are actually probably where it's at right now. It's there or it's not for you. It's that simple. I guess I don't need to say it anymore. I sound like a broken record, but I want people to understand that that's kind of where we're at with this. I don't know what else to do as far as trying to show you guys this other stuff that we see. And, eventually, we're either going to be proven 100% right or 100% wrong. That's where it'll be. And hopefully we ain't proven right. Just to be honest. Just saying. You guys see what's denying it is voting for Joe Biden. Wow, man. Wow. Oh, good gracious. Wow. So, yeah, guys, I mean, I just don't know what else to say or do when it comes to this. But what I will say, we will not, absolutely not quit showing it to you. Okay, we're not, you know, for me, I'm not going to come out here and just beat you on the head with it. I'm going to show it to you. And if they ask me what I think it is, I will say. You know, as far as what it's made out of, I get asked that question a lot. You know, frankly, we don't know. 100%, no way we could tell what it is. We don't have that kind of technology to be able to do that ourselves. No way. Now, we can have an educated guess, which is pretty much where we fall with it, given the fact that it causes the sun to react the way that it does. It has to have something that has a pretty decent sized electromagnetic field. Pretty strong one. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And I think Scott would probably agree with a lot of what I just said. I'm not sure, but I don't, when this thing can disturb the sun like it does, yeah, I mean, and that's what it is. We got to just keep an eye on the space weather stuff, the data and stuff that we can see, that we can look at, and that's the whole thing. That is exactly the whole thing. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things that they, again, we don't know what all they have. We can try to guess. We can try to do this and do that. But at the end of the day, that when you're just throwing and shooting in the dark like that, it almost doesn't do much good. Now, if you're going to come out with what we would consider a theory, that's different. Okay? When you could come out and say, hey, I think this thing is here because of this capture, the 3,000 other captures we've shown you, okay? And I think it's here because of, when it goes around here every 28 days, you see a CME in the same spot. You can find it inside that said CME. You can, this is the kind of stuff that I'm saying, okay? This is what, instead of just going out there saying something without no kind of research or any kind of evidence whatsoever, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, you're right, Pamela, for sure. And again, me and Scott both know that everybody's not going to believe us, okay? We're not going to get 100% agreement on any of this. It's just not going to happen. And you can ask Scott that used to bother me a lot. When people would come at me, like I said, I almost shut my channel down 3 or 4 times. He talked me down like 3 or 4 different times. And, and finally it just clicked. It's like, you know what? They're just going to say that. I'm going to talk to people like you guys. And that's where it changed for me. And that is kind of why I show you guys that whole thing. That's why I show you what I do. That's why I give you guys the respect that you deserve in the fact that I'm not going to tell you guys what to believe. I'm going to show you what I believe and what I see. But I'm not going to say, hey, you can't be here if you don't believe me. That's all I'm saying. So I appreciate that for you guys that really do come in here and do it in a respectful way. We can disagree. We really can. I think I've shown that even through my past live streams that I've been doing for the past month. I think that I showed you guys how I do handle when I do disagree with somebody. I don't go at them and call them stupid and all that other kind of stuff. I'm not going to do that. But I will ask for evidence of what they're showing me or what they're wanting me to believe, and when they can't give it to me, that's when I'm like, well, okay, maybe we should talk about something different because it's not going to go anywhere from there. And that's kind of what I'm saying. And that's why I really appreciated what Brenda did. Yeah, exactly. He didn't believe it until he found it. Been doing it for 20 years, Now it's his job. Now his job is over. So that's kind of what he's saying. He's found it's there, and that's what's going on, And so yeah. Okay, let's let me check something before I get you guys off of here. Yeah, if you guys can see that right there, look, this is getting ready to crest over, okay? As soon as that does, the x-rays are going to come our way again. Oh, thanks, guys. I really appreciate that, guys. Do I have a link to the picture? The one I just showed you here? I mean, that's, well, okay. Yeah, it's on Scott's drive. He just dropped it in there. I didn't know if you wanted me to drop your drive link in there or not. So, well, I guess it wouldn't matter because it's up there in my thing there. Yeah. So there it is. That's cool. Yeah, for sure. There it be, there it be. So, yeah. Have you ever heard of the expression, so a man thinketh so he is? It's all telling and yep. Yep, good one, Marie. Yep, that applies for sure. For sure. Yeah, Ricky touches on something there too. Scott, if you want to drop your link in there to your PayPal, man, go ahead, please. I can grab it if you need me to. Yeah, Dr. Albers is real sick, guys, and Ricky's, praying. Says she's praying. Everybody needs to be praying for her for sure. They're trying to get through it. I think they're heading that direction, but there's still a whole lot to be done. So, yeah, I can do that. There's my email. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Hot Rod. I really appreciate that, man. I really do. Yeah, I got to get a list together. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, Joanne, we do, don't we? For sure. Yeah. I need to get a list of all the links. I need to have it really there just so I can drop it. I need to get it out to my mods too. I think J-Man was asking me to get it to him, or maybe it was Rip. I can't remember, so we could get it out to everybody. Let me, before we do get off here, guys, I am going to go over here to YouTube and, obviously, look at that guy. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him and don't smile. I mean, come on. Look at this dude. I'm going to be heading over that direction, guys, here in just a minute. If you guys want to follow me over there, man, it would be great. We have a really good time over there in the chat. It's all about laughter, all about having a good time. And that is exactly what it is. I'm going to put the link down here. It's a Friday night, and we typically stay on pretty late on those nights. So follow me over here, guys. We'll go over here and have a good time. Hopefully everybody can make it over there at least for a minute. Drop a sub or drop a like, okay? I mean, seriously. It helps so much. We're trying to get this positivity out. What me and Scott do, and everybody else that does this genre, it becomes really, really hard to stay positive at times. And, any chance that we get, we try to spread that positivity, at least wherever we can, The stuff that we show sometimes is very important, but at the same time, it's on the negative side of things, guys. It's just what it is. The nature of it is just what it is. We can't change that. We cannot change that. So this is one way I'm trying to, at least put some positivity out there for people to be able to have a good time, get a break from all this crap we talk about all the time. We need to understand it, and we need to look at it. But at the same time, we have to have a break from it once in a while, including myself. That's why I like him so much. The first time Scott pointed me over here to Mark's channel, guys. I went over here, and within 10 minutes, Mark Pliers had made me belly laugh for the first time in 2 years. And that's the God's honest truth. And it hasn't stopped since. And Mark says a lot. The Real Talk family and the Wages family is the same. because that's really how we try to run things, guys. So I really hope that you guys go over here and check it out and give him a chance. Yeah, stop being negative. Yeah, yeah, I know, Forcing. It's hard to, guys. It really is sometimes. It is really, really hard to sometimes. Okay, Rip. I got you, man. All good. It's all good. Yeah. So, okay, cool, guys. Brenda. Yeah, guys. Scott, did you drop the link, man? You need to drop your link in there. If not, I'll do it real quick. Let's It's in my description, guys. The first thing. Okay, there it is. Cool. Cool. Thanks, Brenda. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys over there. Follow me over there, guys. Yeah, it is, isn't it, Marie? I mean, that's, yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys. I really do appreciate Jerry. Yeah, Joanne, Pamela, guys. Thank you. I appreciate all you guys. Scott, Scott knows I appreciate him. I wouldn't know half the stuff I do without his help, and that's for sure. Case in point, what we just showed you. Okay. All right, guys. I'm heading over that direction. God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this